You're listening to CourtReserve Unscripted with me, Ashley Owens. Hi, Adam.
Hey Ashley, how you doing?
Great. Nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, yeah, in a way.
So excited to talk to you for a few minutes about GoTab and what you guys are up to and
Yeah,
all
and
good things in the world.
yeah, I mean, just being able to talk without an actual script is nice.
Well, that's kind of why we decided to call it Unscripted because we just really want to get to know people. And
Sure.
so I guess my first question is, how'd you get to GoTab?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a probably too long of a story to talk about here. I spent most of my career operating like different spaces, both mostly in the brewery and brew pub space, but also in the entertainment space. So I was an opening GM of a 50,000 square foot venue, bowling lanes, arcade, restaurant, bocce courts, three bars, you name it, we probably had it somewhere in the vicinity, in the venue, and it was a great experience. And it was a lot of fun, but I ended up moving back into the brewery space. But still, I never like managed or operated a venue that was simple. Let's put it that way. Um, every location that I ever managed did at least anywhere between 3 million annual GMV upwards of 15. Um, and so the more complicated the space, I flourished in. And opening new spaces was always something that attracted me to new locations. So I spent half of my career in Oakland, California, and then the other half where I live now in Indianapolis. And so being able to kind of float between the two worlds because they are very different markets was great experience in general. So anyway, fast forward a little bit toward the end of 2019, I realized I had a now growing family, and operating, at the restaurant level that I was at wasn't always super conducive to, being home.
Yes.
And so I moved into a different field. Then we all know what happened in 2020. And so I ended up being the stay-at-home dad type,
Nice.
which was awesome. Like it was great. My oldest was starting like pre-K, and so she was doing the like remote
Yep.
pre-K experience. So she didn't know any better as far as like going from school to now school and school. And then my youngest was just born.
Wow.
Literally, he's a true pandemic baby, born in January of 2020. And so I did that for a couple years, which is great. And then realized, hey, let's get back into it. And I got reached out by somebody at GoTab who didn't know me, just kind of found me on LinkedIn, liked my background, because GoTab works a lot in the brewery space, a lot of different breweries that we partner with. I also had some background history working in baseball. So I worked
Okay.
for the Blue Jays in a different life, down in Florida in their spring training facility. I do some stuff on the side with a website called Pitcher List, which is baseball oriented website. And he reached out. He was in town for a show. He's like, "Hey, let's get a beer." And we chatted. And long story short, here I am with GoTab. And the reason it made sense is just not only the connection with different breweries and different entertainment spaces that GoTab flourishes in, it was just I was so connected to the abilities and the flexibility that the platform, because I've used a lot of point of sales in a lot of
Yes.
different places that I've been in. And over the years from, 2000 on, where I was using all these different point of sales, there was a lot of rigidity
Mm,
in all of the different ones that I was using. And you had to you had to really know what you were doing, right? And you couldn't, it's like you had to adjust, you had to build your space and your customer experience around the abilities of your point of sale. Like
Mm,
this, mostly it was just, hey, we need an ability to ring in orders, take people's payments, and preferably be able to take credit card and cash and what have you, and that's great. And if you can do all that, wonderful. Um, but what I liked about GoTab and what I always did with all of my experience in the past was I tried to find ways to break my point of sale to do things it wasn't really meant to do, and GoTab allows me to do that almost naturally.
wow.
So I always said, like, when I came on board with GoTab, it's like my number one intent was like, I just give me a sandbox. I want to play around with it. I want to break it. Like, I want to make it do things that we don't advertise it as being able to do. And I have a couple of those in my back pocket. They're like just like little hacks that I was able to build out, that I wouldn't necessarily, again, I wouldn't advertise it as something it could do. But as an
Right.
operator, knowing that if I want to put in a little bit of effort, a little bit of just elbow grease into playing around with it, knowing that it could do things that I didn't really know it could, and I can adapt my operation based on the abilities that GoTab brings to the table.
Right.
That was the thing that really drew me in. Besides, um, the contact I made was hilarious, and just he was really he's a good at selling not only GoTab but as the company
Right.
as he was with the product. So
So you're
yeah,
a product engineer's nightmare because you're always in there trying to break something.
yeah. I mean, I work in a very weird part of the company where I work with a lot of the dev team, with the product team.
Mhm.
I work with the sales team, and I work with customer success as well, and just kind of being able to, yeah, find ways to apply the product, apply GoTab to the concept. Like I always say this to people, like there are hundreds of GoTab locations. None of them are set up the same way.
Right. Yeah.
Because we recognize that every concept is unique and we should be able to be unique rather than create an out of the box experience
Yes.
that forces them into a new box.
Which is why our integration with
Yes,
tennis and pickleball and paddle clubs work so well together is because every single pickleball, tennis, and paddle club is customizable in their own unique way to serve their own customers and work with their
amazing.
own staff. And that's a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
sure.
I just due to this integration, I've learned so much about the differences between the sports, never mind the concepts and the buildings and the venues that are housing them. And my wife is a tennis player.
Okay.
And my daughter was doing some tennis lessons over the last couple years. And every time we go to one of these tennis lessons, the courts are overrun, not overrun. They are shared with pickleball, like pick up pickleball games and whatnot, especially in these outdoor courts that are in our neighborhood. And so it is always nice to be able to see. Now, I played pickleball in like junior high. I remember
Okay.
being taught how to play pickleball in like junior high gym, like PE class.
Yeah.
And then not that it went away, but like I just didn't see it. And I grew up in like Western Massachusetts, so I don't know
Okay.
if this was a regional thing or whatever. Like we also played lacrosse, and I know that's a
Mm,
big East Coast thing as well. So it was crazy to see over the last, I don't know, like I also came again, I'm also coming from the craft brewery industry where there was a
right.
big boom, right? There was a big, huge boom in that industry. Pickleball, padel, like all these racket sports are having their moment, and they
Yes.
have been for the last few years. And it's just amazing to kind of like, for your average person looking at it from the outside, it's very much so seems like it came out of the woodwork. Like it just came out of nowhere. Obviously it didn't. There's obviously been racket sports in general. Like I played racquetball in college and it was, just because my school had a facility. And it's interesting how many versions of them, and
Oh
how they
yeah.
can be adapted in the facilities that are either focusing on one or focusing on four,
Yeah.
in each
That's
one.
exactly right. So
Mhm.
is there a favorite part of the GoTab software that you love? Like in CourtReserve, I have a couple of favorite areas that I love to get in there and play around with. Is there
Yeah.
one in GoTab that you love?
Yeah, I think the one that I'm really into right now is we have built-in RFID technology,
Okay.
built into the platform, What this means is you can have like a wristband or a card or a fob.
Mhm.
Think of literally the fob that opens your car doors without having to push a
Yes.
button,
Got it.
or the key card that you get into your hotel room. That's an RFID card. And so we can associate an RFID card or fob to a tab that's open so that you don't have to take out your payment device, your card, your credit card, debit card, what
Yeah.
have you, every single time you want to place an order, and you can order from anywhere. So you have a group of 10 people that come in, you can have one person put down their card to start the tab, and then we can assign an RFID card to each person so they can walk about the space, go to the bar, tap their RFID card, it adds to the tab. Order from a kiosk, it adds to the tab. And so they're not having to really think about paying
Yes.
until the very end,
Yes.
and it allows for a lot more flexibility and like just going about your space. Like again, I said, the more complicated the space, the better I feel about the space. And so, GoTab was founded as a QR ordering platform, right? And
Hmm.
it still is. Like you still have very,
Hmm.
very high level QR sharing tabs ability, be able to start a tab from scanning a QR code, which ties right into our integration where members of a CourtReserve location can charge
Yep.
their amounts right to their membership, right? Which is
Right.
great. And you can do that right from your phone.
Yep.
But then on top of that, the ability to meet the guest where they are, because there are people who go out and don't want to pull out their phone. They might be going to play, pickleball and they didn't bring their phone with them.
Exactly. It's in the
Um,
car. It's in
yeah,
their bag.
exactly.
Yes, on the
Yep.
court.
It's in my
Yes.
locker. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
That's
don't, I
exactly
don't, I'm
right.
not breaking my phone on the court,
No, for
or anything
sure.
like that. So, yeah, just adding in the ability to share like have a single tab and then be able to share it with a big group of people. I just came in with a foursome, right? And I'll start my tab. Everybody gets a card, so everybody can place their own orders. They don't have to order through me. They don't have to order through a centralized location. They can go about their business and do what they want.
So what's in the future for GoTab? What's next? Anything cool coming up? Because I really
Oh
don't
man.
know.
Yeah, we're literally always working on the next big thing. That's kind of what GoTab has been founded on. It's like we were founded as a point of sale that could do more in the space that it needed to be in. And so the biggest thing, we actually made this announcement already, but it hasn't, it's still kind of being worked through as far as like beta testing. We have a functionality that kind of brings the best. The question we get asked, what I've been with GoTab for almost 2.5 years now. And the number one question I always get asked is, what do you do? It's a cloud-based system. So
Okay.
what happens if the internet goes out? Can
Oh,
you still do everything, right? And typically, the best course of action with no matter what system you have, if it requires internet, is you should always just have a backup router, right? You should have a backup 5G router or some kind of failover so that if your ISP, your service provider goes down for whatever reason, even for 5 minutes, something else kicks in and it's like nothing ever happened. Now, what we're going to have the ability to do is create what we call an on-premise server. On-premise
mm,
server allows, it's almost like not going back, it's not back to the future, but it's like we're going back to the days where I was operating, where you were required to have a server on site, right? Where
right.
that kept everything running. You didn't necessarily connect to the internet except to run credit cards.
Right.
So this on-premise server is going to keep everything connected, and running smoothly. And we're very conscious not calling this an offline mode because that's what
Okay.
your typical point of sale calls it.
Sure.
Because a typical offline mode keeps all of your units on an island. So you have your one ordering station, you can order and whatever, but it doesn't go anywhere. So if you want to add to that tab, you have to go back to that station. Or if you started a tab before the internet went out, you have to start over again. Ours is going to be running the whole show on basically a local area network that
Wow.
allows it to run the show all the time. And then when it's connected to the internet, which is going to be 99% of the time, it syncs with the cloud automatically. And when the internet goes out, it's cool. The on-premise servers is still running the show, and it's as if no, nothing ever happened. So
That's
that's kind of the
awesome.
most exciting thing. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's awesome. All right. Are you ready for some rapid fire
All right,
questions?
let's do lightning round.
Okay. So if you were to play pickleball, what famous pickleball or tennis player would you want to be your doubles partner?
Oh man. That's a tough one. I wish Bradley was here. Shout out to my boy Brad on my team. He would have like seven answers. I'm gonna go. I mean, I'm gonna stick in the tennis realm because those are the names I know the most. I mean, it'd just be so much fun to play alongside somebody like Serena, who like
Yes.
just is just so
Is going to
obviously
get to
so
everything.
good. Yeah, and I don't have to do anything. That's the best part. I'll just sit there and be like, "That's cool. I'll get your autograph at the end of the game."
That's awesome. What's the craziest item you've ever seen in a customer's point of sale system?
Oh, probably things that they shouldn't be selling, or at least shouldn't be labeling accordingly. Um, yeah, I think the we have a location that's oh man. Um, how about a $400 cheesecake?
$400
It better
cheesecake.
and it better be the best cheesecake ever. And I'm sure it is.
Wow.
I'm sure it's amazing,
I'm
but a
sure it is too.
$400 cheesecake.
Wow. What's the coolest venue that GoTab's ever been a partner with?
Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair at all. All right, so I'll list out a couple that I think are just because I haven't been to all of our locations, so it wouldn't be fair to. I'm gonna mention a couple that I've been to that I would just want
Okay.
to be like. And so there's a place up in Minneapolis or in the Twin Cities that is so fun. It's called Can Wonderland. It has all these retro video games, arcade games, pinball, and stuff like that. And then I'm talking retro, like the kind where you kick the football, like you
Yeah.
physically have to do the things. And then it all revolves around. They have a mini, what are they called? Where you break everything out of anger. Um, One of
Really?
those
Yes.
rooms.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so they have a mini version of it. So it's like almost like a stall. Instead of axe throwing, you're just breaking stuff. They have all this stuff and it goes around in like a circle. Then they have a self pour wall attached to that so you can get your own beer at your own pace. When I was there, I literally just I grabbed the card, I went to the pour wall, I poured myself a beer, and I just did 3 laps and I just walked around. And then in the
Wow.
middle, I'm saying they walk around. In the middle, there is a super cool mini golf course in the middle of everything.
That's
And
awesome.
then they have a stage for comedy shows, concerts, stuff like that. And then there's a full bar as well. And it's kind of hidden in like the basement of a really big building. So it's like, in order to just to get there, you feel like you're like walking into like a secret alley through like a speakeasy. And then it's really cool. So that's the first one that comes to mind. Otherwise, I mean, I just finally got to visit one of Stone Brewing's, one of our longest standing partners, location, the one they have actually in Richmond, Virginia, as opposed to Southern California.
Okay.
And just walking up to that space, again, very similar, where you park in the parking lot, and then you have to walk over. This was at dusk, so it seemed like, and it was kind of raining, so it's a super creepy bridge that you gotta walk through, and then you walk up, and it's just like this massive space. And it's just really, especially somebody coming from the brewery space. And then the one I haven't been to yet, but I've had um, a open invite because I worked with them, bringing them on board is a mutual customer of ours, partner of ours, Hot Shots Pickleball out
Yes.
in Ohio. And I'm in Indianapolis, so that's not that far of a drive. It'd probably be about 4 hour drive. But talking to them the whole time, they had all of their stuff in a row. Like they knew exactly what they were doing. They were really conscious about the guest experience, not just the pickleball aspect of it, but just the entire experience. And I knew from the day one that, they were going to be successful just
Yeah.
because of the way that they planned everything. So
Yes.
shout out
Well,
to them.
shout out to our Hot Shots folks.
Yeah,
That's
of
awesome.
course.
Well, Adam, great to know you. Thanks for joining
Thanks,
us on
Ashley.
Unscripted. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Ashley. Have
All
a good
right.
one.
Take care. Bye.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you'd like to learn more about how CourtReserve became the go-to club management software for racket and paddle sport clubs, come say hello over on our website. There's a link in the show notes.